Let me try something. Okay, can you hear me now, Sharon? I'm gonna unmute and then mute. Okay, I did an unmute, then mute, then unmute. Let me see, 1 or 2. I'm sorry about that. I don't know how long that was going on. Can you hear me now, Sharon? Let me see. I put my sound back up. I'm going to remove myself from the stage again and then go back up. Let me try that. To stage. Unmute. Okay. Okay, am I back? Let's see. Okay. And let me put my comments up so I can see that. I apologize. Let me see. I'm going to exit full screen. Okay, thank you so much, Sharon. I apologize for that. All right, let me go back to, we were at the reward challenge. Kyle actually won the reward. Kyle won reward. And Kyle, of course, picks Eva. Eva has been on every single reward challenge. And Mitch, in contrast, Mitch, the first reward challenge where he ate was last week. Joe took pity on him and fed him. I don't think I've seen a season where someone has gone on every single eating reward. And they don't have to even butter her up or anything. She's walking around with Star's Idol in her pocket, this shot in the dark or whatever that advantage is that she has. It's just, I don't know. They want to give this, just write Eva a check. And I'm not here for it. It makes the game boring. That really got on my nerves. So when Kyle won, he picked Eva. I was afraid he wasn't going to pick Camilla because he's afraid that people are going to know about their close alliance. But so far, only David has kind of sniffed that out. And he's sitting on the jury. So Camilla is the other one he picks. He takes Sarheen with him, who is so excited about having chicken and waffles. So that was good. I was hoping he would bring Star, but for some reason, they're not too hot on Star. And I don't think that it's fair. I find it to be slightly bullying because when they show Star, she's talking to everybody. She's not annoying. You know, I like Star. So a boat picks them up. They get to go to the other beach. This sends Mitch, Joe, Star, and Mary back to the camp. So Mitch is thinking, confessional Mitch is telling us, oh, Kyle doesn't love me anymore. I'm disappointed. I can't catch a break. This is not like Mitch. I think Mitch is always in good spirits. I think that not eating and just being out there is kind of getting to Mitch a little bit because he's kind of a sad sack. And I'm a little upset that Mitch is not fighting a little bit more. So on the boat, Kyle says that they are a lucky bunch. Eva says she's not concerned, but she instantly starts talking about the game. She says neither Mary nor Star can win, and we need to get rid of that girl. She's talking about Star, who gave her the idol. They need to get rid of that girl. So Eva is trifling, y'all. I'm tired of Eva. I really am. Mary says when Kyle won, she knew that she wasn't going to get to go because Kyle doesn't really see it for Mary. Camila works with Mary, but not Kyle. So Joe said he's bothered that Kyle didn't take him, even though, listen to what Joe didn't take Kyle. So Joe and Eva are on a different level as far as their ego. I don't get it. So Joe says it's smart because Mary would have been all over Mitch and Star. So he says, well, I think maybe it's smart that he sent me back with them so Joe can kind of watch them. I'm just disliking Joe more and more. He says that Mary's the only smart player. I disagree. Mary's not the only smart player, but Mary's the only smart player that they recognize. He said Star has no chance of winning any challenges anytime soon. What do you mean by that, Joe? I'm starting to look at you cross-eyed. I don't know what you're talking about, Joe. So Mary says she gets them getting David out of there because he had gotten paranoid. Joe tells Mary that the consensus is that nobody thinks David was thinking on his own, that Mary was the brains behind the brawn and put those ideas in David's head. So Mary kind of panics a little bit. Good morning again, One Crafty Sister. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. We are talking about Survivor. I'm dragging Eva and Joe again. So Mary asked Mitch if he's ready to go to Rocks. She said, because the top 6, they're not going to want to go to Rocks. They could make it 4 and 4. this is the last time that there's 8, and it's actually where they could do something. So I was kind of hopeful at first, everybody. But then Mitch got scared and told Mary he doesn't trust Star. Star did vote for him, but he has a better chance being at the bottom of 4 than at the bottom of 6. But they couldn't reason with Mitch. And then Confessional Mitch is saying, I realize I can't play scared, but what people at home don't realize is that it's hard to trust people that you don't trust. So Mitch, I think it's the not eating. It's really getting to his head. Mitch is not making any sense, because I don't know why he thinks that the top 6 is going to give him a better shot than the bottom 4. So that doesn't even make sense. So they go to another challenge, which is the immunity challenge. There's 3 bags of rice sitting there, and Jeff actually bribes them with 3 bags of rice. He said a few seasons ago, they started offering food, rice, which is food for throughout the rest of the time that they're out there. But 3 people have to sit out, not compete, and not get immunity. So they risk getting sent home. So he asked Mitch, you hungry? Does this tempt you? Mitch is like, no, I came here to play, 8 people from the end. I can't sit out. Nobody's going to sit out, Mitch predicted. And he was right. He asked Sohan, Jeff asked Sohan, nobody sat out, which is smart. So Jeff tried to bribe him. They didn't take him up on it. And let's see. They have another challenge, which Kyle is in the lead. He has to start moving real quickly. And then Eva is kind of moving slow. What this challenge is, they have to get blocks that spell out immunity, but they're stacking them on top of each other. And the taller it gets, the harder it is to actually balance. So Jeff is talking them through it, but that would kind of mess me up. I hate when Jeff does that. And then production and the cameraman, they're showing this like fly landing on Joe. So they're really in love with Joe. I'll go quickly through the challenge since I don't want to bring a picture back up and lose my sound. Joe wins immunity again, okay, for the 3rd time in a row. Confessional Joe was funny, though. He said that the challenge is made for parents because everybody has had that experience when the kids are asleep. You can't be the one to wake the sleeping bear. And so sometimes you got to turn the doorknob real slow and that kind of stuff. That's really funny because I had a nephew who used to be really hard to get to sleep. And when he would sleep over, you have to like sleep with him in a certain position. And then as soon as he's asleep, you have to like put him down real soft. And my niece was helping me one time. She dropped to the floor and like rolled out. It was so funny. It's like a reconnaissance mission or something. So I knew exactly what Joe was talking about. I thought that was funny. So Mitch is still talking to the home audience, explaining to us why he can't make a move. Okay, Mitch. I'm really disappointed in Mitch, everybody. I had a thumbnail where I had my final 4, which was, for me, what I wanted. Mary, because she's the last of her tribe, even though I don't really care for her that much. Star, Mitch, and Camila. So we're going to go through this tribal council. Okay, Mary and Star talk about how they know it's going to be one of them. They said they're just going to go ahead and vote each other. That made no sense. I don't know why both of them didn't still put their votes on Eva and then try to talk to somebody. Camila probably would have voted for Eva and then do something, but they didn't. They just laid down, honestly. So they go to tribal council. We got one more confessional, Star. And Star gives that rap, the enemies are plotting against me. So it's kind of nostalgic. I knew Star was going. So he goes to Joe, tells him that Mary is floating Eva's name. So now Joe wants to get Mary out immediately because, Eva is untouchable. So he wanted to do Mary instead of Star first. So they convinced Joe to not do Mary first. And Confessional Mary says she got a good social game, but with this group of people, it's just not landing, which is true. I noticed that about Mary, also Camila, also Star. I don't know what it is with this group, but they've got their tight 6. They won't let anybody in. And then the people at the bottom are so afraid to do anything. It's not making any sense. Yeah, the challenges were funny, one crafty sister. They were. I wanted somebody beside Kyle to win the food challenge because I didn't think he would take Star, even though I hoped he would. But I mean, she's eating it. Well, I done gave the spoiler. We know Star got voted out, okay? Since I said she's eating at Ponderosa. So I'm sorry about that. And let me see. The sheet for you receipts, considering how well Star did with that stack and sticks challenge, almost defeating Kyle. I think she could have been better at balancing the blocks if more fed. I think that too. That has a lot. The sheet for you receipts. Thank you. That has a lot to do with their performance, because I noticed that Mitch is a PE coach. He's really conditioned. He can do a lot of things, and I'm noticing his performance has suffered. And the only time he got to eat at a challenge was last week, and they're feeding the same people week after week, which is really, to me, it's unfair. But you know, they can do what they want, but it doesn't make it fun for the viewer. Unless, now it's funny when I go on these Survivor posts and I read, people do like Star. They're disliking Eva a little bit more, but the people that are Joe and Eva fans, they love it. They love how it's going. They love seeing their faves get ushered into this $1 million. But I'd like to see more competition. Yeah, I was really hoping that Star would be able to eat too. I really was. So the jury enters. We see Cedric, Chrissy. Who is the fourth person? Oh, the very angry David was voted out last week. He was making a point of like not trying to look at the tribe. And David must have lost a lot of weight. I have to find where they used to have a special on YouTube where they would show them in Ponderosa get weighed and all this stuff. He looks like he lost a lot of weight because you can see his cheekbones. David's good looking, but his attitude over the 2 weeks before he got voted out, when he got paranoid, David started to get on my nerves and bossing everybody around and trying to be Captain America. So I didn't mind when they blindsided him. Okay, so Jeff starts asking questions about everything that's going on at the camp. What's it like with a smaller group? So Soheen speaks up first. He says, you got to learn how to navigate and find trust, but it's hard to trust when you're down to like 8 left in the game. So Mitch, I forgot, Star spoke up and she said, Mitch told me, and he wasn't even stuttering. She said, no disrespect. And I knew what she meant. Star wasn't making fun. She was saying that he just straight out told her, you need to play your shot in the dark. I think I left that scene out, which kind of let Star know that her name's on the chopping block. And believe it or not, Mitch, he's not a fan of Star, but he gave her the heads up. I was so shocked Star did not play her shot in the dark. So Mary's going on and on about trust and paranoia, this and that. And Kyle begins to speak and just forgot what he said. And then Jeff said, yeah, at this point in the game, the lack of food, being out there, in the elements and that sort of thing, it is a tough game to be a part of. Even though Kyle just ate chicken and waffles, stuffed himself with chicken and waffles. So you can imagine Mitch, who barely ate. Mary hasn't eaten. Star hasn't eaten. So Camilla says she just like wipes her brain free of any paranoia, but she's speaking really quickly. Camilla seems like a nervous, paranoid person to me because she's always thinking, but I'm rooting for her. I have her in my final 4. One of my final 4, as you know, is gone, which was Star. So I have Camilla, Mary, Mitch, but I'm changing my mind on Mitch because Mitch just laid down this week, everybody. He did. Eva said the way they're doing it is that they're going to the next one, and keep on rolling. Eva is so bold now. She's just letting the people know it's going to be her and Joe at the end, and she don't really care about anybody else. So, and that's why I'm so shocked that the bottom 4 didn't do 4 and 4 this week to have a fighting chance. Okay, I want to make sure I'm getting all the comments. I'll put it up there. The sun is in my face. I should have positioned my desk differently. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I noticed that too with Mitch. He was actually one of the stronger players in my opinion. Yeah, I thought that too. So that, especially if someone they have muscle. He's thin, but he's muscular and he was really quick. He was always leading the challenges, but now he's kind of dropped back a little bit. Okay, I'm going to show this. I wasn't mad at David. I just didn't want him targeting Camilla. Yeah, Camilla's going to be one of the ones that she's using her brain. She's talked to every single person on the tribe. And then the secret Camilla Kyle duo, I haven't seen anybody do that successfully in quite a while. So I'm rooting for. Now, I'll tell you a funny reason why I'm not rooting for Kyle. When we first met Kyle and he told the viewer that he's a lawyer, but he's going to lie and say he's a teacher. I don't like that, Kyle. I don't like when anybody does that. So he knows he's an attorney, but attorneys aren't viewed all that well. So he wants to use the social capital of a teacher, but he's actually a lawyer. So it's a small reason, not a small reason. I think it's kind of a lack of character, but I do like the way Kyle's playing, and he's been committed to Camila. I'll be disappointed if they turn on each other, but they'll turn on each other to me before Eva and Joe. The whole Eva and Joe thing. Now, at first it was kind of endearing and touching, but now it's just, okay, Joe, you're winning immunity challenges. Eva is not. So you're just gonna drag her to the end because she shared something with you episodes ago. I don't think it's fair. And Sharon is saying my sentiments. She said, I was disappointed that Star didn't play her shot in the dark. I was disappointed too. I couldn't believe it. I don't know what she was thinking. It was going to be either her or Mary. So if it was Mary this week, it's her next week. She might as well have played it just to see what was going to happen. So it ended up being Star got a vote, Mary got a vote, and then it was between Star and Mary. And then, actually, let me just say one thing before I go to what the votes were. Jeff asked Mary what her pitch would be to keep her, because the way Eva was speaking so plainly, Jeff even knew it's going to be either Mary or Star, which I didn't think was fair. I didn't like that. But Mary basically gives a pitch kind of throwing Star under the bus with the rumors they have about Star. She said, I'm chill. I don't cause chaos. I have not seen Star cause chaos. I don't think they would leave that out if Star were chaotic. Say was my girl, but Say, I can understand people saying she was chaotic, because Say would throw stuff up against the wall and just try to, but she had to do it to defend herself. Star is not chaotic. She was very encouraging to all of the tribe members. I remember her encouraging Cedric, Eva, Mitch was teaching her how to swim. Star, I thought, had a good relationship with everybody. So I was really surprised to see some of the comments that I thought were kind of nasty that Joe and also Eva made about Star. Not to mention, Star gave Eva her idol and still has it in her pocket. And Mr. Integrity Joe had the nerve to tell Eva not to give Star back her idol, which I really didn't like that at all. I understand Star not playing the shot in the dark after she explained how she thought it was their plan to flush it first. Okay, so she might have thought she had another week. I can understand that. Yeah, as a team player, Mitch was winning more for the team than David. Actually, he was. David got caught up. Once they merged, David got caught up in competing with Joe when he saw this whole, and Say was the one to first say that, Captain America versus The Rock. They had one challenge where they were head to head, and then CBS loved it and everybody else loved it, and we couldn't hear the last of it. But I don't remember David standing out all that much. Sharon says Mary will be next. I hope Camila can pull this out, but I have a feeling Kyle will turn on her. Yeah, Kyle's lips. He lying about his whole profession. So we can't really put too much past Kyle. Anyway, as the votes go on, it ends up being tied between Star and Mary, and then Star gets the final vote. And Star is voted out. One of my pick for the final four, one of my hopes for the final four. I'm going to read some more comments. I'm sorry for talking so much and reviewing so much and not really engaging as much as I like to. So I'm going to make sure I read all the comments for everyone that's here. Team Replay, make sure you click the like button, and I appreciate you stopping in. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Mary will be now. Okay, I read that. Yeah, unless she can do something, her and Camila can do something, but they don't have the numbers now. Okay, let me put that up. That's why I didn't understand why David did not see Mitch as one of the stronger players. And David acknowledged Mitch's threat level early on. Yes, when Mitch was able to really win the challenges, when he was feeling a little bit better, he was also a dangerous player physically, and also everybody likes Mitch. I like Mitch a lot myself. I was just very disappointed in him this week. I didn't see Say as chaotic whatsoever. Yeah, I think that's something that they put on. I hate to say young Black women, but I've seen it. That's what they do. They'll target certain ones, and it's just not fair. Say started being chaotic once they started targeting her. I think looking for an idol doesn't make someone chaotic. It makes them smart. That was when the California girls first started targeting Star. And then also Eva and Joe didn't care for Star either. He said, she's out all day looking for an idol. Star knew that she wasn't protected, so she had to find an idol. And then that's why I was so disappointed when she gave it to Eva. Sharon, we were talking about like, uh-oh, Star, this is going to come back to bite you. We knew. And it did. And Eva had no loyalty to her besides, say, getting her lick back on said. She knew she wasn't getting voted out at that tribal. Say usually stuck with her word. She did. And what was so funny too was when she wrote in cursive and said was going crazy. He didn't recognize the handwriting. So she would make a little mischief, but I thought it made for good TV. I like to say a lot. One crafty sister, I was sad to see Star leave as well. She was a character. When they finally started showing her, the first 3 or 4 episodes, they showed people talking about her because they were mad she was going out looking for the idol. But we didn't get the Star confessionals and all the beauty of her personality, any of that. Even with the Uncle JP, because she didn't want to call him Jeff, because Jeff, he's older than her. So I really like Star. Uncle JP. I see a chaotic player as someone who's instigating, causing confusion all over the place. Yeah, they've had those in past years. Oh, the guy, Russell Hantz, the one that was not Russell. Russell was the uncle. He was chaotic too. Brandon, one of the one, they brought someone on and he had mental challenges. Allegedly, and in my opinion, let me see if I can find my banner. I don't think I can find, let me see. But what I'm going to say, this guy got a lot of time. The Hantz, the younger one, the nephew, he threw their food away. This is when Survivor didn't used to have all these food challenges and stuff. And this guy ended up throwing the food away. So you're right about that. There is a certain thing such as chaotic, which we haven't really seen in a long time. But yeah, Russell, was it Russell? No, Russell was the uncle. I think Brandon was the other one. And Jeff loved him. Jeff loved some players like that. Colton, I think Colton did some type of personal damage as well. And then Colton they didn't even, this is years ago, I might be going back too far. They didn't even vote Colton out first. And I think he ended up, they let him quit. And he was even very disrespectful to certain tribe mates, but he still was allowed to quit and then even be invited back. So yeah, you're right. That is actually chaos. So that was the end of the Survivor review. I thank you all for joining me for the live. And I thank everyone that returned after my first Friday topic lives. Thank you so much. So we're getting down to the wire. Star was voted out. So now I still have Camila. I won't say I'm rooting for Mary, but I'm not rooting against Mary. As the last of her tribe, the Vula tribe, I have to respect Mary for that. And then Mitch, if Mitch can get it together, but he played so scared this week, I don't know what's going to happen. And Kyle, I'll give it up to Kyle. Kyle is an amazing player, and he's still a physical threat. So I won't root against Joe and Eva, but I won't cheer if they win, especially Eva. Okay, thank you, everybody, for joining Sandra P's Gen Xtra. I will see you in the YouTube streets, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday and the rest of your weekend. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.